Many are questioning the marital status of former President Barack Obama and his wife Michelle Obama.
This whole tell it like it is business, that's nonsense.
Malia Obama just revealed a truth about her parents' divorce that no one saw coming, and it changes everything. Rumors have spread for years, but now shocking details are finally coming to light. What she uncovered isn't just personal, it shakes the very image of the Obama family. Could there be a hidden story behind the marriage that the world never knew? We will expose the heartbreaking truth that forced Obama to retire from politics for good. How a single joke created a never-ending story. Imagine living in a world where every single thing about the Obama family is turned into some wild, over-the-top story. People don't just gossip, they convince themselves that every rumor must mean something bigger, something being hidden from the public. It's not just about politics anymore. It's about spinning the most outrageous theories possible. And once a theory takes hold, no amount of common sense can erase it. The more absurd the idea, the more some people seem to believe it. Before we delve into this, it's clear that the rumors may be wilder than they seem, and what's lurking beneath the surface is far more unsettling than anyone was ever meant to know. Take the bizarre claim about Michelle Obama. A joke made in 2014 somehow exploded into a full-blown theory that refuses to die. A single comment, twisted and stretched, has led people to dig through old photos, searching for some kind of proof to support their fantasy. It doesn't matter that medical records, birth certificates, and every logical fact in the world confirm Michelle is exactly who she says she is. No, for conspiracy lovers, the truth isn't nearly as fun as their version of events. And then there's the envelope. Supposedly, one journalist received a strange letter packed with undeniable evidence about Michelle Obama's so-called true identity. The implication? That this was the moment of exposure, the unraveling of a deep, dark thing. But of course, no real proof ever surfaced, just more whispers and speculation. The lack of actual evidence only made the theory grow stronger because, according to believers, that means the cover-up is even bigger than anyone imagined. But why stop there? Some people decided that if Michelle's identity could be questioned, then Barack Obama must be hiding something just as shocking. Wild claims started popping up, suggesting that their marriage wasn't what it seemed, that Barack's personal life was an illusion carefully crafted for the public. Every photo, every public appearance suddenly became a coded message to those willing to dig deep enough. It was no longer about facts, it was about keeping the conspiracy alive at all costs. Even their daughters weren't safe from this madness. Some theories argue that Malia and Sasha weren't actually born to the Obamas at all. The claim? That these girls were adopted, possibly from Morocco, or that they were placed into the family through some hidden government arrangement. The so-called proof is flimsy at best. Old photos, gaps in pregnancy pictures, and the usual nonsense about missing records. Some even push the idea that they aren't human at all but lab-created clones designed to be perfect. Yes, you read that correctly, clones. And yet, despite how ridiculous these stories get, people still cling to them. The crazier the claim, the more people rush to believe it. Even when fact-checkers debunk them, conspiracy theorists dismiss the evidence as part of the grand cover-up. Nothing can change their minds because in their world, the truth is just another carefully constructed lie. Reality becomes whatever they want it to be, and every contradiction is just proof that they were right all along. Then there's the situation with Malia's name. A simple personal choice somehow turned into a massive controversy. Instead of assuming she just wanted to step out of her father's shadow and create her own identity, people spun it into something far darker. They claimed she was distancing herself from a family she had just discovered wasn't actually hers. The theory insisted she had learned the truth about her real parents and in a fit of rebellion dropped her last name as a silent protest. But as usual, there was no proof, just speculation that got louder and louder. Some conspiracy theorists even took it further. According to them, Malia's godparents were actually her biological parents, and the Obamas had been raising her as their own without anyone knowing. This supposedly explained her decision to drop the last name as she was reclaiming her true identity. It didn't matter that this idea had no basis in reality. Once a rumor takes off, it doesn't need facts to survive.
Obama's sister's public tragic life. The Obamas worked hard to give their daughters a sense of normalcy. In an interview with Entertainment Tonight, Michelle said they tried to keep things as normal as possible, despite the unique circumstances. Before moving to the White House, they lived in a comfortable Chicago apartment, which was much smaller than the massive White House. Moving to such an important place was a big change for the family, but it also gave Sasha and Malia some incredible experiences, like traveling the world, witnessing historic moments, and learning about diplomacy. In more recent interviews, Malia has talked about the valuable lessons she learned during her father's time in office. These experiences gave both her and Sasha a deeper understanding of the world and the responsibilities that come with leadership.
Sons out there, I'm not offending you. I'm just stating a fact. Can't beat them.
Yeah. I saw a picture of. Do Sasha and Malia, do they enjoy living in the White House? Like, they can't wait to. Is it like frozen for them?
They gained a mature global perspective at a young age. Michelle worked hard to protect her daughters from the public eye, ensuring they had privacy and a safe space to grow up. Thanks to this, she and her sister could enjoy fairly normal teenage years. They did regular things like go to school, do chores, and hang out with friends, even though the whole nation was watching them. Still, it wasn't always easy. She and her sister are now known for their grace and style during public events, something they credit to their mother's guidance. But more importantly, Michelle taught them to be kind, humble, and confident, qualities they've shown during public appearances and interviews. As they step into adulthood, the world is curious to see where life will take them. The balance their parents found between handling big responsibilities and being there for their kids has set them up to embrace both the normal and extraordinary sides of their lives, helping them succeed in whatever path they choose. She and her sister always had a voice at their family meetings in the White House. Even though their ideas weren't always used, their parents made sure their opinions were heard. To them, the White House wasn't just a famous building, it was home. Barack Obama once shared that even though they lived in a very political place, his daughters cared more about the small things that made it feel like a real home.
A lot of people don't remember, as the first black family in the White House, you know, the journey there wasn't smooth.
They had play dates, went to school events, and enjoyed family movie nights together. Unlike some parents who might not pay much attention to their kids' schoolwork, Michelle and Barack Obama were very involved in their daughter's education. Michelle often talked with their teachers to check on how they were doing and make sure they were doing well in school. One time, she even mentioned that her sister missed Barack's last State of the Union address because she had to study for a big test the next day. People on social media praised this choice, appreciating how the Obamas put education first, even over big political events. This dedication helped her and her sister grow up in a balanced. Michelle also thanked her own mother, Marion Robinson, who moved into the White House in 2009, for helping raise the girls. Her presence gave the girls a sense of normal family life, even in such an unusual place. But this wasn't the only surprising thing. Marion, even while living in the White House, stayed independent. She did her own laundry and taught her granddaughters to do the same. At first, when Barack and Michelle told the White House staff to let the girls do their chores, it caused some concern. The staff was used to doing everything for the first family, so this change felt strange, and some even worried about their jobs. But over time, the staff got used to it and came to see her and her sister as regular kids, making sure they had private moments away from the public. Michelle and Barack played important roles in teaching their daughters good values and encouraging them to think deeply. The girls often spoke about how much they learned from their father, especially the lessons on kindness and understanding that he passed down from his own mother. These values were a big part of their upbringing, but there was one emotional moment that stuck with Michelle. She remembered watching her and her sister, who were 7 and 10 at the time, go off to their new school under heavy security. It made her wonder how their lives in the White House would shape their futures. Both parents supported their daughters in following their own passions, with Barack always encouraging them to choose careers that they loved and that would help others. Michelle, who had her own public role, always stressed the importance of privacy for her daughters. Even though she was a well-known figure, her main focus was being a mother and helping her family during Barack's presidency.
Robinson, girl of the South Side. For the past 25 years, you have not only been my wife and mother of my children, you have...
In her autobiography, Becoming, she shared more about her life, giving a deeper look into how she balanced public life with personal goals. Her story not only inspired many, but also showed how strong the family's values were and how deeply they cared for one another. In her journey as an ambitious woman, she shares her experiences, offering valuable lessons on personal growth and career advancement. She talks about how her family's strong support played a huge role in her dreams. She also opens up about the challenges and joys of being a working mother, while also serving as the First Lady. One of the most anticipated parts of her story is how she handled her marriage, along with her desire for normal, everyday moments, like walking through a park without being recognized or enjoying a quiet meal in peace. These honest details gave readers a genuine look into her life. When her book, Becoming, was released, it quickly grabbed the attention of people all over the world, becoming a bestseller and being translated into many languages. The book offers a personal look at not just her struggles and dreams, but also those of many others who could see themselves in her story. She shares her worries about being a good wife and mother, her early struggles with self-doubt, and how she dealt with other people's opinions. The honesty in her writing was praised for its openness, but there was more to Becoming than just looking back on her past. The book also hinted at her future plans and her dedication to continuing her personal growth, even after leaving the White House. Readers walked away with a deeper understanding of Michelle Obama, often seeing parts of their own lives reflected in her journey. As we move from their childhood to their future goals, the lessons and values their parents taught them will surely guide their way. Michelle Horifing, Secret Rise. Michelle's story begins with her early life as Michelle LaVaughn Robinson, growing up in a loving but modest home in Chicago's South Shore. Although they didn't have a lot of money, her family was close-knit. Her father worked as a city pump operator, and her mother stayed at home to care for her and her brother Craig. Her father's battle with multiple sclerosis taught her the importance of resilience, instilling in her the belief that no situation should ever hold one back from reaching their full potential. Growing up on the south side of Chicago, where racial and economic challenges were common, she learned early on the value of education and perseverance. She and her brother shared a room separated by a simple divider, and it was Craig who later introduced her to her future husband, Barack Obama. From a young age, she believed that education was a powerful tool. Her path took her from being an eager student, often underestimated because of her background, to becoming a strong voice at Princeton University and later Harvard Law School. Throughout her academic journey, she fought against social barriers and spoke up for diversity and understanding. Her career mirrored these values. She was the first African-American associate dean at the University of Chicago, and her work in the White House reflected her commitment to education. For the Obamas, education wasn't just a way to get ahead in life. It was a core family belief. This was clear in initiatives like Reach Higher and Let Girls Learn. Barack Obama's early years were marked by a multicultural background and a strong focus on academics. He attended Occidental College, Columbia University, and then Harvard Law School.
So I thought, when they look back on this time, when they are talking to their kids and they're like, Mom, did you ever go to a steak dinner? And they'd say no. I would feel pretty bad about that. So we thought we're going to invite them to one, and they got to do
where he became the first African-American president of the Harvard Law Review. From community organizing to becoming president, his life was a testament to his dedication to leadership and education. Their daughters, Sasha and Malia, also grew up with a strong belief in the power of learning. Malia explored her passion for the arts, even taking a gap year to intern in the film industry before starting her studies at Harvard. Sasha, after transferring from the University of Michigan, is now studying sociology at the University of Southern California. She surprised many when she decided to take a year off before starting college. This decision stood out, especially because her family places so much value on education. But for her, this break was about more than school. She wanted to take time to explore who she was, what she wanted to do, and how she fit into the world. Taking a year off like this is common in other countries, but less so in the United States. She saw this time as a chance to step away from the White House and experience the world from a different perspective. One of the key things she did during her gap year was intern in the film industry. She had already tried it out with a summer job on the TV show Girls in 2015, but now she was ready to dive in deeper. She landed an internship at the Weinstein Company in New York, where she learned all about making films. From writing scripts to editing scenes, she got a close-up look at the industry, which might shape her future career. Taking this break from school gave her lessons that no classroom could teach. It was a time for her to learn more about herself and what she wanted as she moved from the structured life in the White House to the independence of college. When she finally started at Harvard, her gap year experiences,
Malia, and she's like, just be cool, you know? It's like, please don't embarrass me. She looked beautiful. I mean, she just was a vision, is a vision. And Barack's trying not to cry, and he's trying to act.
like the internships and personal growth, prepared her well for her studies in visual and environmental studies. Now, as a Harvard graduate, she is beginning to make a name for herself in the film industry. Recently, she worked on the Amazon series Swarm with Donald Glover, and she's also working on her own short film. People in the industry are taking notice of her talent. Janine Neighbors, who co-created Swarm, even praised her for being a dedicated and talented writer. At the same time, her mother was dealing with the intense scrutiny that came with life after the White House. Everything she did and said was closely watched, including a comment about American pride that was misunderstood. Despite these pressures, her mother stayed strong and kept living by her famous motto, "When they go low, we go high," no matter the criticism. As the Obamas settled into their post-presidency life, they also shared more personal moments with the public. During a virtual interview with Conan O'Brien, Michelle talked about how their family spent time together during the COVID-19 lockdown. At first, being together was great, but eventually she and her sister Sasha got tired of having their parents around all the time. Still, the hardest moment for the family came on May 2024, when Marion Robinson, her grandmother, passed away. She had always been a source of strength and support for her, and her loss was deeply felt by the whole family, especially by her and her daughters. Years after their time in the White House, the Obamas continue to inspire many people with their focus on public service and their ability to stay strong during tough times. Do you think the persistence of such conspiracy theories reflects more on the creators or the believers? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more insightful videos.